What we doing back here, bro? Huh?
No English.
No English? Bro, you speak Spanish. Or English. But basically what we're doing, we're cutting out a template so then we can use this sheet metal I picked up. It's, I think, 16 gauge or... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 16 gauge galvanized steel. So what we're going to be doing is mounting my pump and filter right here and then closing the bottom right there. Using either some rivets or bolts, depending on how we decide to do it. And then on top of that sheet, we're gonna mount the fuel cell. We had talked about in like 2 or 3 videos ago about separating something, making it a flat surface, and I had hinted at the idea of like how OEM uses the wood. Obviously, we're not gonna do that for you know, fire reasons and safety and whatnot. So we are gonna be closing it in with a sheet metal right there. And right now we're just basically doing the template, and you know, once we have that cut out, we'll show you the next spot. That looks good in the front.
Yeah. Ahora, como tú dices, meter para acá. O lo hacemos derecho. Okay, we can do this and then we can do the pocket later on.
The pocket?
Yeah, like here.
Oh, like the extra spot?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can, I mean.
Porque eso es cuadrado, ¿no?
Yeah, but we can cut it to whatever shape.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just get this little sheet right here, cut out a piece, and then form it on and tape it on there. And then that's just the template anyway, so.
Yeah, we can do that with the pocket.
Sweet.
Yeah, because that's where the jack go for factory, yeah?
Well, the jack is gonna lift right here in the center.
No, sorry, the stock jack.
Stock jack?
Like
oh, like the spare tire and everything? Yeah, right under it.
Here and here, yeah?
I think it's somewhere around there, yeah. If not, they do it like in the wheel sometimes.
I think so. Yeah, we'll figure out from there.
Nice. Alfonso used to make like subwoofers and whatnot with fiberglass, and he's really good at fabricating little interior stuff. Isn't that right?
Just a little bit.
So I was just telling him how I'm keeping the radio. Like, this is all the interior front half of the car, which I'm pretty much keeping, hence all the carpet and whatnot. And this is the factory radio plug along with aftermarket radio wiring harness. So we were just talking about it earlier. I am doing an aftermarket radio so we can listen to music and whatnot. Probably do some speakers. And Homeboy's saying that he wants to build me a sub box. So like have the fuel cell here, like a sub right there, the nitrous bottle right there. That's gonna weigh a lot, dude.
It's a daily drive.
It's a street car. You can't cut it too much. So yeah, we might do something like that. Be a nice fun street car with some good music, a little bit everything. Instead of actually tracing it out with a Sharpie, just a little light coat of some dusted paint. And then you take that off, and you have your template. Not bad, right? Instead of sharpening it all around or leaving it on and trying to have it actually not move. So we just have our rough cut. We ended up measuring this side that goes out towards the outside of the car. So we kind of have half chopped off right there, half chopped off right there, and try our best to do a rough cut right now. Okay, so first, all right, careful where you walk. First rough cut is pretty much cut out. So this being the passenger side, this being the driver's side. Obviously I have it notched out for the back in the necessary areas and where the shock towers go. Yeah, it's pretty much ready to just set in there and see if it clears. And I'll probably have to modify a little bit more, but there's the rough cut. All right, so here's the rough cut. A little too deep on this side, a little too narrow on this side. I can probably open up right here a tad, and from the looks of it, maybe cut back this leg and this area maybe about 1/4 of an inch, and then it should sit exactly how we want it. This machine error on my side, not machine, but like I cut out a little triangle. I shouldn't have, but it lines up pretty straight up here. This is gonna come in when we move that right there. Then once that is down, then the fuel cell obviously has the sump area. It'll probably be right in the center. We're not gonna cut it until we test fit. But right off the bat, it looks like that's gonna sit perfectly on there. And I really like how it looks. Nice. All right, so I have the metal cut out. Did the adjustment right there. Cut a little bit right there. Also cut out a hole in the center for the sump. Obviously this isn't bolted in or anything, but it's kind of just like a rough look of how it's gonna be. next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean up a few more little parts on this. Under the sheet, there's 2 self-tapping screws that I'm gonna shave off. That way it sits flush on the front. This is gonna overhang a little bit, but that's fine. I'll probably modify it some other time. After I get done cutting this few things right there, I'm gonna drill some holes without the fuel cell on there, so there's no load. I'll drill some holes on here. We'll see how it goes, we'll play it by ear. And then after that's done, it's gonna be able to be removable, obviously. Then once it's bolted on nice and firm, then I can mock up the line, or make holes exactly where the fuel cell mount is gonna be, or where it's gonna stay in place using these 4 holes right there. And then once that's there, everything will be basically in the mounting location, but I'll be able to remove it, obviously. Then I can mount the pump right under the sheet and then finish that feed on the fuel line. And that should pretty much be it. All right, I have these permanently bolted, not permanently, but they're bolted with a nut. Also these are just loosely placed on the top since I can't get to holding the nut on the bottom since it's a nylon inserted nut, and bolting it from the top just by myself. So I'm gonna have somebody else help me with that probably tomorrow. But just by having these 2 bolts on each side, trying to push it down, it's super sturdy. It's a pretty thick piece of steel. So now, you know, the hole is cut for the sump. Just gotta set it in place to about where I want it, and then I can make the holes onto this plate to actually have it held securely with these 4 bolt holes. And then from that point on, take the sheet back off. I can start on the pump and filter and on the bottom. Okay, so I have all of the bolt holes drilled out. Come to find out, actually the back ones go through the sheet metal and then through the actual body of the car. So it's gonna be, I guess it'll add more strength as well.
The next day.
What's up, guys? I'm Claudia's. Oh, dang it.
Just keep on going, just keep on going.
I'm Alfonso's wife, not Claudia's wife. My name is Claudia, and the guys are here working on the car today.
So you guys know the quiet guy, Alfonso, that's always in the videos, doesn't say anything? The girl behind the camera is his wife, so yeah. We're over here finishing the fuel system. So basically, we have the fuel cell mounted onto the plate that we showed you guys that we were cutting out, if you want to show it over here. Obviously, this... Obviously, this is gonna be hard mounted, and I forgot I already had one of the fittings threaded on. Let me take that off real quick. But basically, what we have underneath the plate is the pump itself and the filter. So, all right, that's unthreaded. Let me set this off. We have this plate that needs to get bolted on. And then I just scratched the Lexan. Great. Here, check this out. Can I grab it?
Yep.
Thanks. So coming through the floor is basically just a little hole that we made, and then we put some grommet, which is basically just vacuum line right there so it doesn't, you know, fray off or anything. Going to the pump, and then over here we have to the filter itself. We didn't have any more fittings that would actually work perfect off of this, but a 180 is just fine. So this goes to the cell itself. It sets up like that, then drops down into the fuel filter, off the fuel filter to the pump. Obviously none of this is mounted, it's just sitting right now because we were making the lines. To the pump, off of the pump to the actual feed line, which that goes, you know, all the way under the car. Comes up to the subframe right there, to the fuel filter in the engine bay. Distributes for the nitrous fuel feed, and then to the fuel rail. So yeah, that's pretty much all the routing for that. I still have to do a return. For the return, we're actually gonna do something really simple. Off of this pressure regulator, we're just gonna get a line, a hard line, to start about right here, and then I'll do a soft hose, like a regular fuel hose from the line to the back of the fuel pressure regulator. Run the line next to the feed itself, and I'll probably have it come up through the floorboard as well, and then feed to the top to one of these fittings. But that'll just be like a regular return, and then a vent to the back of the car for the other fitting right there. Obviously the blocked off one right there. So now I'm just gonna put the brackets on, make this nice and firm, stay in place, and then we can start bolting the plate on.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! Woo! All right, we have the pump bracket, pretty tight. Filter bracket, tight. Both have M8 by 125 bolts. This one only has one because it's broken on this leg right there, but it's not hanging, it's just holding in place, so it is pretty strong. And this one has obviously both of them. Yes, I'm just gonna put the plate back on, make sure fitment is okay with the line to the cell itself. Then if that's good, Then we can take everything back off, vacuum it real good, and make sure everything's nice and clean. And yeah, probably paint the plate and put that like the final install. Not bad, right? Oh, yeah. All right, so now we have the fittings already threaded on. The mounts are secure on the bottom. I haven't threaded on, or I haven't bolted on the plate yet or the fuel cell, but it's already in place. Like I said earlier, all that's left to do is just pretty much do the return line, which is pretty straightforward, just the line and the hoses, and do the little vent. And that pretty much sums up the actual plumbing of the fuel system. In the next couple days, I want to do the install for, just show you inside of the car, the Burton Racing plug and play 14 volt conversion. Here we are. So this is like basically your plug and play Honda fuel pump harness, and this converts with a relay your inconsistent 11 or 12 volt signal that goes to the pump to a solid 14 straight from the battery. So that's pretty awesome. We're gonna be putting that in soon. But that does pretty much sum up the video for tonight. This video has actually dragged on for, I think, what, the past 4 or 5 days? It's been a while, but work has been pretty busy. We've been busy with some other stuff, but we're trying to get some stuff done with the car. The challenge is February 23rd. For those of you who don't know, it's the Honda YouTube challenge. We're all meeting up in Mississippi on the 23rd of February to all drag race, basically. Should be a really fun time, but we just really have to knock out the next month and a half to actually finish the car. So without further ado, this pretty much sums up the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll be reading those comments, obviously. And yeah, we'll make sure to keep you guys tuned until the next video, and we'll see you then.